If I listen to a podcast that actually hurts my ears or is hard to listen to, I unsubscribe or turn it off right away. In this episode of Podcastification, 2 simple ways to get the best sound quality on guest interviews. My name is Kerry Green, and I am the Client Happiness Guy at PodcastFastTrack.com, and this is Podcastification. This show is all about podcasting. How to do it, how not to do it, best practices, interesting news items that have to do with the realm of podcasting, and who knows what else. And I'm trying to do it all with a little bit of fun and some information to help you get a show going, keep yours going, or make it better. And if you like what's going on here on the show, I would appreciate it, so appreciate it, if you could leave a rating or review on iTunes. You can find out how to do that at podcastfasttrack.com/review. That's enough of that kind of stuff. Let's get you podcastificated right away. Sound quality really matters for your podcast show. If you want to know how much I believe that to be the case, you should go back and listen to Podcastification episode number 2. You can find that at podcastfasttrack.com/editing matters. One of the most difficult places to ensure that the sound quality for your show is the best that it can be is when you're doing guest interviews or having a conversation with someone who is a guest to your show. When you introduce a person to your show who's not familiar with audio production or sound quality issues, you've just introduced a whole slew of variables into your show that can seriously impact the sound quality. Some of the more common sound quality issues guests can introduce into your show are that they don't have a good microphone, or the only microphone they have is one of those earbud microphones that keeps rubbing against their shirt. They keep bumping the desk the mic's sitting on or the microphone itself. They allow dogs, doorbells, cell phones, children, email sounds, all those things to interrupt the recording. They don't speak into the microphone. They're too close to the microphone, and so you get pops and harsh S sounds and other plosives. Yes, that's what they're called, plosives. Or their input volume is turned up too much, and it's harsh on your ears. In this episode, I'm going to take just a few minutes to run through some of the simplest remedies to most of those problems. Here's remedy number 1. Prepare your guests. You know, if your guest doesn't know anything about sound quality and what it takes to get good sound quality in an audio recording, it's your job as the host to kindly and briefly educate them. Now, I know this is a contested point. I heard one podcaster say just a week or so ago that he doesn't want to add any additional burden to his busy guest schedule by asking them to do anything extra before the recording. I get that, but I disagree. If the people you're interviewing care anything about their own brand and image, they will appreciate you helping them sound the very best they can for your audience, which may at least in part become their audience after your interview. So what I usually do to prepare my guests is this. I send them a 1-page PDF document that outlines some of the issues I need them to take care of before we start recording. I know other podcasters who create a page on their website with the same information, and they'll point their guests to that webpage. You can find a copy of my PDF document, which you are free to tweak and make your own, in my resource center at podcastfasttrack.com/resources. But you don't have to wait to download it. Here's a quick blast through the document to give you an idea of the kinds of things that I include. It starts out with a title, For My Guests. And I say, I can't thank you enough for being willing to come on my show. I'm confident that your experience and expertise will be of great value to my listeners. I just wanted to give you a quick bullet list of things you can do to prepare for our conversation. I want you and your brand to be represented in the best possible light, so please read through the list below and make any of the suggested adjustments you're able to make prior to our conversation. Following these suggestions will enable us to make the most of our time. And then there's a bullet point list. Starts with like this. Visit the necessary personal room before our scheduled time to chat. Have a glass of water nearby during our chat. You'll probably need it. If you think you might reference any websites or links, please have them open and ready so you don't have to hunt for them during the conversation. Turn off all non-essential programs on your computer to enable our recording to happen with less potential for technical glitches. Please use a wired computer connection, not a wireless connection, if at all possible. Find a quiet place for our conversation. Make sure all potential noisemakers are turned off or taken care of ahead of time, such as phones, email, children, pets, etc. While we're doing our interview, please don't bump the table, scoot things around on your desk, click pens, tap your fingers, or anything else that might make noise. We want our interview to be as professional sounding as possible. Use a microphone other than your built-in computer microphone if at all possible. Even a microphone that's built into your earbuds is better than your computer microphone. Make sure your computer speakers are turned down or wear headphones or earbuds while we talk. This will help us avoid feedback and electronic echo in the recording. We'll do a quick microphone and sound check before we begin our conversation. Thanks again for agreeing to chat with me. I'm eager to bring your knowledge and insight to my listening audience. That's remedy number 1. Now let's move on to remedy number 2. Do a pre-recording sound check for audio quality. When you first get on the line with your guest, take time to get to know them in a comfortable way, but then transition to a get-her-done mode. Let them know that you need to do a quick quality check to make sure the audio quality is good. Then do it. Here are the steps I recommend you go through every single time you do a guest recording. Number 1, make sure the record button has been pressed. Number 2, check your audio level to make sure it's adequate. Number 3, check your guest's audio level to make sure it matches yours. Number 4, if you're experiencing drops or glitches on Skype or Google Hangout, cancel out the recording, reconnect in another attempt to get a better connection. Number 5, ask your guest if they have their water, their notes, everything they need for the next however long that you've agreed to while you record. Number 6, ask them if they've turned off their noisemakers. Number 7, ask them if they've turned off all other programs on their computer. Number 8, remind them not to touch the microphone, the stand, the desk it's on, and ask them to use headphones if at all possible. Number 9, if they're using an earbud mic, help them arrange it so it doesn't rub on their clothes. And then 10th, let them know if they need to stop for a drink or to cough. They should just let you know, and you'll give them time to do that. You know, there are likely many other things you could add to this list. The point is, keep it simple, but at the same time thorough so you don't miss anything essential. What ways do you have to troubleshoot the sound quality on guest podcast episodes? I'd love to hear your tips and tricks. You can leave them in the comments section at the show notes for this episode at podcastfasttrack.com/guest recordings. Thanks for listening to Podcastification. Please let other people know and go and leave me a rating and review on iTunes. You can find out how to do that at podcastfasttrack.com/review. This show is brought to you by Podcast Fast Track, where my team provides professional podcasting services without the time suck. Full production, editing, and show notes all in one monthly subscription package. You can find out more at podcastfasttrack.com. Now go out and make it a podcastificating day.
Welcome to the Internet, your gateway to adventure.